Alright, so hi everyone. Today I'm gonna go through on inference and purpose. Alright, so finally you can hear my voice, and also finally that I'm recording this because I was sick for the past couple days, so I really apologize for that. Alright, so the first thing you gotta know is inference. Alright, so talking about what is the message of the source. So the message means the big picture of the source. Now, next I'm going to talk about is the types of possible questions. So this one you just look and skim through, but actually I'm not going to go through in depth on that because actually there are a million possible inferences that can come out and might come out. So I'm not going to go through that much. But the main summary here is that you have to know when you talk about message, you got to talk about the big picture. You don't talk about the small details because when you talk about small details, it can come out as a sub message. So please don't do that. I suggest you look at the big picture. So let me just show you an example. So example is this. Alright, let me go through the example first. So a big picture is basically talking about all of it. But do not focus on the small details such as the world. Such as talking about the world is very big, globalization is very big. That means it's good because it's meant to be populated. Those are things you might think that students don't do it, but actually some people do. So talk about the big picture. Alright? So the big picture is basically this person over here, and this person over here. So that's basically about the big picture, about inference. Alright? So let me go through the format real quick. So the first thing you're going to talk about is to answer the question. Now, what does answering the question mean? It means you answer the question by looking at the question, you understand it, and then you copy the phrasing. That means what is the message of the source? In your answer, you must put the message of the source is. Now let me give another example. If the question says, what is the cartoonist impression of the clothing industry? Right? You can put the cartoonist feels that the clothing industry is cruel, or feels upset about it, feels angry about it. Then in that case, you're answering the question. Alright? Answer the question. Please answer the question because this is very important. You can get 0 marks, 1 or 2 marks if you don't answer the question. Alright guys? So please answer the question. Alright? So next is claim. Your claim is basically your inference. Then your support is your evidence. And lastly, your explanation is to basically explain. That's basically it. Alright? So let us go back to the example. Okay? So I've written some things out here, prepare it. So, for example, you can say, what can you infer from this source? So, when you write out your phrasing, you must put, I can infer from this source. Then you're answering the question. So let us put a tick. The next is your inference. So the inference in this case is talking about how, it has brought about a negative impact towards low-wage workers and that globalization has caused major suffering. Alright? So that is your inference. Alright, but before that, you see here I can infer that globalization. You can put that because you're still answering the question. What can you infer? I can infer that. So, another thing that I strongly suggest, you can write this. Another possible option is, I can infer from this source that globalization has brought about a negative impact towards low-wage workers and that globalization has caused major suffering. Alright? So this, in this right mind, is inference is in the big picture because you're talking about mainly this person and this. These two things are the big picture. So you're inferring on the basis of that and also a bit basis on this. Alright? But don't talk about the world, please. That is talking about globalization. Globalization is everywhere. Alright? So, next thing you gotta know is your support. Don't go too much in your support because your support is keep it clean and short. So it's actually, you can still put it. Alright? This can be seen in source A as it states there is a worker looking fragile and is sewing for a model. So that is your support, straight off the bat. And lastly, this shows that. Now that's your explanation. Please put this. This shows that. This can be seen. I can infer. That is the right way. Alright, I strongly suggest to put that because you can get marks for that. I mean, you don't get additional marks, but when the marker looks at your work, it's very neat. So yeah, right. This shows that globalization has caused major suffering as the worker is unable to support him or herself when in terms of the model really thriving in life. But actually, in this case, we can also talk about how the quality of life of the worker. So the quality of life of the worker in the explanation, so it leads to a lower standard of living. The person will suffer, unable to support themselves, not enough food for clothing, etc. Alright. So that's your explanation. So this is basically inference in a nutshell. Alright. So talk about the big picture, answer the question, infer, support, and explain. And there you got it. And there you can do it. Alright. I really hope that you all can do it. Okay. So next thing is talking about your purpose. What is the aims, or what is the message? Lay back again. Purpose and inference is almost the same, but purpose has more things to write, but purpose comes about in 6 months. Alright. Anyways, so types of possible questions. We were going to use this example here. Okay, we don't have an proper example here, but later I'll show you a proper example, and you guys to know what is purpose, because some people don't understand purpose. So again, I will help you. Alright. So first things first, when you look at this, look at the big picture. What is it talking about? So you can form out your message. Okay. So this is the format. Catman. Alright, I have no other acronym. I can't think of it. But Catman. Alright. So context, I don't really see a context in every single question in terms of purpose, because social studies, it's very hard for you to write out a context. So if you don't want to write the context, don't dwell on it too much. Focus on the 5 steps left. Okay? If you don't have context, like I said, please don't do it. So second one is audience, purpose, verb, message, author, and your outcome. Audience is basically who is the person, who is the author reaching to, or who is the person reading the news, or who is the person basically talking about in the source. Alright. So audience can come in many ways, but look at the source carefully and analyze it. If you analyze the big picture, you can analyze the audience. Alright. So next is purpose, verb. You can always do convince. Alright, convince, which I strongly suggest to always have this purpose verb, because this purpose verb is standardized. Most of the time will happen. I say most of the time because every source is different, so you have to see. So again, purpose might come in your last step when you're doing a high skill, and might come as a singular question. Alright. So this is message, author, and new outcome. New outcome, some of you don't know what is new outcome. New outcome means action. What is the possible action that the author wants to establish towards the audience? So that's how you think of it in terms of purpose. Alright. Right, so this is an example here. Just take a few seconds to read it. Alright. So the question here, unfortunately it's not put it up, but the question here is, why was this speech made? It can come as vague as that. So the speech was made, you're answering the question, the speech was made by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, the author, to convince Singaporeans, the audience, that measures are put in place to curb the spread of COVID-19. Now this is the message, because that is the message, because you're talking about, you have to really read what is the inference talking about, because it directly answers it. That we're putting in measures, tightening over the next few weeks. We have become more decisive move to now preempt escalation infections, alright, and significant impose stricter measures. So yes, you can put that, alright. So then like a normal inference, you need to put your support, you need to put exclamation. The reason why I didn't put in the format is because your message, after your message, you must have these two, your support and your explanation. Alright, so just take a few seconds to read that. So after that is your new outcome. So this is the additional mark that you must put. The new outcome, in hopes of this, Lee Hsien Loong wants Singaporeans to adhere to the measures proposed by the Singapore government during the circuit breaker and wants Singaporeans to trust the government that they are doing their very best to ensure the welfare of Singaporeans are being taken care of. That is your new outcome. This is a very atas new outcome. But if you don't know the new outcome, just read it again. Look back in your message. Think, if you're the Prime Minister, what do you want to get your message across? Or what is the message that wants to be put across? And then it will get you places in terms of getting the marks. So in this case, if you don't have your context, you get 5 out of 6. Okay? But if there is, sometimes it might accept context, sometimes it don't, you get 6 out of 6. Usually you get 6 out of 6. Don't worry. If you don't know context, I don't know context, how? Don't do context because you're going to waste your time. Just do the other steps. Catman, okay, or Appman, alright? So with that, I'm just ending off my lesson here, alright? So if there's any questions, please do text in the discussion group and I will answer them ASAP or as fast as I can because I know you guys are having your WAs coming soon. And yeah, alright, so the next lesson is reliability. And yeah, I think that's it. So just make sure that you read all the notes here. I'm trying to summarize this as fast as I can so it's not too lengthy for you. But if you feel that you guys feel that you want a more lengthier type, more detailed lesson, please do say, alright, and you can slow down this lesson as fast or slow as you want. Alright, so with that, I thank you for listening. Alright, and please, if there's any feedback, like I said, if there's any feedback, do say, alright. If you think that my grammar is not that good, please say as well, alright. I'll accept any feedback. Alright, with that, thank you very much. Alright, and I hope that you will do well in life. Thank you.